going to be talking about how if your manifestation is happening slowly, then a good way to find out the shadows behind that and do the inner work around why it's happening slowly, like what's going on with my reality, what's going on with my mind, how am I sabotaging it even, then the best way to do that is actually by looking at the world and the people around you. Because you've heard it before probably, but probably not in this way that I'm about to explain. But the world is a mirror. The world is a direct mirror to your internal mental state. So if you don't know what's going on in your mind to create your reality and therefore cause your manifestation to occur slowly, then a great way is to just look at the things going on around you. Who is around you and what are they saying? So I'm just gonna join the live so that I can answer anyone's questions in case there is any questions. Okay, here we go. We're fine. So what do I mean by this? Okay, so the world is a mirror around you. So think of it like this. The people that you hang around with, the people that you associate with on a daily basis, whether it's your certain family members, whether it's friends, whether it's certain co-workers, ask yourself, what do they believe about dream life creation? Do they believe that they can create their dream life, or are they the kind of person to say, that's too big of a desire? Maybe they say things like, if you was to give them your biggest desire, what would their reaction be to it? I know a lot of family members that I have in my family. If I was to tell them my true desires and my manifestations, shall we say, I know that they would reflect back to me limiting beliefs, but I don't surround myself with them. And I realised later on that the reason I don't surround myself with them is because I don't connect with them in that way. But what does this mean about the people that we do surround ourselves with? It means that if we do surround ourselves with certain people, then we connect with those people. So I learned a very important lesson over and over and over again until I learned from it. And the thing is that I kept attracting friends that in some way needed my help. So they were somewhat lesser than me in a certain area, somewhat more unfortunate, and I gave them my help. And I never once thought, why am I attracting these people? I never once questioned it. I just always assumed that I had this talent and this skill that like was just good and benefited the world, and a lot of people would benefit from that. And obviously a lot of people don't have certain things, like they have things that I like, you know, likewise. So I assumed that they were just someone that I can help, right? Hi guys, yeah, you can leave questions down below and I'll answer them as we go along for sure. And if you're watching the live later on, if you want to view the comments, you can swipe right on the comment section. It'll lead you to the live comment section. So yeah, I was attracting these friends over and over, and I was like, initially when the first friends disappeared, I just assumed that I had outgrown them, which I had, but that was part of the equation. Yes, you outgrow people and they will naturally fall away, but what are their beliefs? And if they're someone that is constantly asking for help, how is that a reflection of you? If they're always asking for help in certain areas, how are you always playing yourself down and needing help in certain areas? So if they are someone that needs help and you're someone that needs help, how is that being reflected to the universe? What kind of lack state of mind do you think you're in? By constantly wanting to help people, what are you telling the universe? Secondly, how do they talk about this area of their life? So if there's someone that's always like, oh my god, this is so expensive, this is so like annoying, like, oh, the government's out to get us, like I don't know, random stuff, and you're like, I know, like literally, and then afterwards you're like, oh my god, why are they talking about this? Like, they're so annoying. I don't resonate with these people anymore. Like, why am I attracting them? but you are literally being with them in that moment. So there is some sort of part of you that enjoys being around that person, and some part of you that also has those kind of negative beliefs on the world. Hence why you're putting up with them. Because if you actually did not like what they're doing, you wouldn't be feeding into it. So catching your shadow self coming out in those moments where you don't like what they're doing, because your shadow is secretly liking it. It's feeding into it because it's paying attention to it. And then afterwards, your conscious self is thinking, oh my God, this is so unaligned with my dream life. Why is my manifestation happening so slowly? It's because when you're hanging around with these people and they express their negative beliefs, your shadow self is like, hey, this is the old identity. This is someone that resonates with me. Like, I'm going to pay attention to this person in the moment. And then you kind of get this enjoyment out of it. But then afterwards, your conscious side kicks in and you're like, oh my God, I want to go in this direction. And this person's going in this direction. So how am I, like, what's going on here? And that is where you can catch what your shadow self really wants. That's how you can catch how your shadow self is playing out in your manifestation. So let's say, for example, you are trying to manifest money, but then people around you are constantly bringing you back into your old identity, your old reality that you're trying to escape. That is something that you actually enjoy. A part of you wants that old reality, the safety of the old reality where maybe you don't actually want money because you see it as safe and you see rich people as greedy and you see it as something that, like, people are going to come after you if you have money. The reason you keep those people in your life still is because they resonate with part of you, with the shadow self, right? And then you come home and you're like, oh my God, why am I not manifesting money? And it's because these beliefs are still running free in your mind. Your shadow is running the show and you don't actually realize it. And then you complain about it afterwards. Why are these people saying these things? Like, I don't resonate with them anymore. I'm going to have to cut them out of my life. It's you that's the problem in this scenario. You haven't set the energetic boundary in place. You're allowing your energy to be taken up by that. You're allowing their energy to come into your field because you secretly enjoy it. So whatever it is you're trying to manifest, and it's happening slowly, what is the world around you reflecting? Are you still living in depressing living circumstances? Or are you still living in an average place when your higher self wants to be living in the lavish place? In which case, why are you not just living in the lavish place already? And I don't literally mean going and buying a massive house and like getting in loads of debt and stuff like that. I mean living in the lavish place in your mind and creating the environment that you live in right now to look like that lavish place. So you're already there in your mind and then you can get there in your reality. Hi everyone joining the chat. Yeah, if you've got any questions, leave them down below. That is how. So if you're living in a depressing circumstances and you're complaining about all these things in your house, in your environment, and you're complaining about, like, say you're trying to manifest a house, right? And then you're complaining about your current house. We already know now that that means that you're manifesting out of a state of lack, and that's bad. But this is a reflection of your internal mind. This environment that I'm in is a reflection of my internal mind, of your environment is a reflection of your internal standards. How does your room look? Is it messy? Is it disorganized? Is your house messy and disorganized? Is that where you find comfort? Is that where you find knowing? That is a reflection of your internal mind. It's kind of like when people are like, oh, I'm going to paint it black like my soul. That is literally what they are meaning, right? I want to paint it black because that reflects my internal state. I have a family member that has painted their room from top to bottom black. And if it was socially acceptable, they would have also painted their entire house black from top to bottom. In fact, I've heard of people literally turning their Christmas trees upside down. So they're celebrating Christmas, but they're trying to make it really like bad. And like I don't really want to say any other things, but like, yeah, they're trying to make it bad, essentially, like literally almost cursing. I don't really know what they're going for, but either way, I just heard of someone doing that. So everything around you, the world is a mirror. So if you don't know what's going on inside of you, you don't know whether your shadow is running the show, look at the world around you. What's going on in there? What is the beliefs about the world? What is the people around you? What is their beliefs and opinions? Oh, almost knocked over the tripod there. What's their opinions and beliefs about the world? What is their opinions on manifestation even? Do you even have anyone in your life that believes in manifestation? Or is it just you? Personally, like, I don't resonate with a lot of people in my life anymore because no one has that faith. And I'm in the process still of exiting out of those relationships and making room. So it's all about energetic space, right? You have to make room for the new. So it's literally out with the old, in with the new. And the second you realize that someone is not aligned with you anymore, so if you're complaining about your house or your friendship or your financial situation, it's about getting rid of the old and then making room for the new. So aligning yourself with the desired reality and putting the old reality in the bin. When you get aligned with the new reality, the old reality does start to fall apart. I've just recorded a video that mentions that and everything. But if their beliefs and opinions are a reflection of your shadow self inside of you, what do you think you then need to do? You need to change your internal state first, and then the world will reflect that. You will change your internal state and you will naturally stop responding when they start talking about this topic. You won't even need to do anything. You won't have to sit them down and say, hello, just so you know, this is a new standard, this is a new boundary, you can't talk about this anymore. You can't say that to people. That's against their free will. You can't just turn around to someone and say, you can't complain around me now. They would be like, who the hell do you think you are? Right? They can do what they want. But when you first start changing your beliefs and opinions around the world, naturally they will stop talking about it, because naturally you will stop listening and responding. Before, your shadow self secretly enjoyed this old reality, this lack mindset, this complaining. It got something like a high from the complaining that you reacted to them. You bounced off each other. So of course they're going to talk about it again, because you bounced off each other, because you reflected each other. That was your mirror. So yes, they're going to continue talking about it. If you're arguing with a partner and you sit there and you say, you can't argue with me anymore, stop doing that, they will sit there and say, I can do what I want to do. How about you stop causing the argument and then I'll stop reacting, right? That's what happens in every argument with family, friends, whoever, right? You'll be like, don't speak to me like that. And they'll be like, I'll speak to you how I want to speak to you. You disrespected me in this way, so I'm disrespecting you back. The world is a mirror. The second you say to yourself, I'm unavailable for conflict, you will physically not say anything that aligns with conflict, and therefore not cause an argument in any way, shape or form. If they say something first that offends you, you will automatically not be on that frequency, like, because you've already said I'm not available for this, right? Instead of the old identity reacting and starting to give it some mouth or give them an attitude, or hey, what do you think you're saying to me? And then maybe arguing, and then them arguing back, and then them saying something bad, and then you're like, hey, you can't say that. Instead of that happening, then you in the moment will react differently. In fact, you won't react, you'll probably respond then. You'll probably say something different, like, hey, well, if you feel like that, that's fine, but I'm just saying, I'm telling the truth, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't mean to do this to you, but this is it. That's your new identity. And then you'll wonder then later on, oh my God, I've never argued with anyone in the last few years. but I didn't have to actually tell anyone and sit them down and say, hello, don't do this, don't argue with me, don't speak to me like this. I never did that. It just didn't happen. And it's because you weren't available for it. In fact, the moment they tried to start an argument, it just went over you because you just weren't on that frequency anymore. And then before you know it, that friend that did used to cause arguments all the time, they stopped hanging around with you because you stopped feeding into their crap. And then you're like, oh, that person hasn't reached out to me in a really long time. You didn't have to sit them down and say you're a bad friend. You didn't have to sit them down and say we can't hang out anymore. You upped your standards and they naturally fell away. You upped your standards and the things that reacted and accumulated from your old identity and your old life naturally fell away. So if you've got something in your life right now that's unaligned in any way, shape or form, it's because you're attracting that over and over and over again subconsciously. Consciously you want something else, but subconsciously you like this. Whatever's going on here, you like it. You're getting some sort of satisfaction from it. Like when that person says something like, oh, you're in the streets, and then someone says something like, oh my God, why is that person wearing that? Oh my God, did you see their face? Like, why was they looking like that? And then you're like, I know, what? Like, what? That was so weird. You are reacting to negativity in that moment because a part of you enjoys saying those things and feeling that way. Like, it makes you feel better in a certain way. So how is this affecting your manifestations? When you're constantly giving attention and energy to the old identity and the old reality, your identity and personality create your personal reality. So when you're constantly saying to yourself, okay, here's an example. You're constantly doing these affirmations every day. Hey, I'm a millionaire. That's a big jump. We don't want to go for that one because like ladder technique and everything, right? But let's say, hey, I'm a business owner and I earn 10K months. And then you surround yourself. So you're doing this to rewrite your self-concept and your identity to step into the new identity of the business owner that earns 10K months. But then you find yourself still interacting with people in your life that think rich people are dirty and that think businesses are so hard and so unreliable and so unsafe, and you surround yourself with those friends that play dumb and they're like, oh my God, I could never do taxes, I could never handle money, I could never do this, like no way, I'm way too little and unsmart and like I don't know, whatever people say, right? And then you're like, why? This doesn't align. Like, what's going on? Why am I still attracting the old identity? Why am I still attracting the old identity? Why? Because you haven't actually stepped into the new identity yet. Maybe this is like your identity shift. This is a big sign, by the way, guys, that you are actually on the right track, because this is a sign that you're in the middle, like you're having like a mid-identity crisis almost, right? It's like a midlife crisis, but it's an identity crisis because half of you is successfully going in the right direction and then half of you is still going in this direction. So it really is like a tug of war, and that means that your manifestation is also a tug of war. So maybe you get signs that you're going in the right way and you manifest some things easily, but then other things you don't manifest as easily. This is why, because your identity is in this tug of war phase where it's wanting to go this way and it's actively pursuing this dream. It's actively got the vision boards, it's got the affirmations, it's like consciously doing the things. Maybe it's consciously going to new places, but then the old identity, like the shadow starts to come out the surface, and the things that you secretly enjoy, your shadow will start indulging in bad habits still. And that every time you say yes to an old bad habit, it drags you into the old identity bit by bit. And if you don't catch it, you'll find yourself slowly shifting into this way. So like your manifestation will start to happen and you'll be like, oh my God, yes. And then something will be pulling you back and you'll be like, what's going on? I'm doing all the things, like the to-do list, the manifestation to-do list. Yeah, we all have it every day that we have to do all the things, right? But something's still pulling you in this direction. It's not happening instantly and you're like, what's going on? Hence why you're in this video. It's because of this. the things in your life that are aligned with the old identity are still in your life. It doesn't mean you need to get rid of people, but it does mean that you need to stop feeding into those patterns and behaviors. If you don't have to sit anyone down, like I said, if they genuinely are that much on this end of the spectrum, they'll fall away naturally. But most of the time, whoever you surround yourself and whatever house you live in, if you align yourself fully with this and you stop aligning yourself with this, like maybe you redo your home because you're manifesting a new home, maybe you stop talking about money in a bad way, then naturally that is the energetic boundary that will be put in place without you even trying. The moment you start saying no and you say to yourself, I'm deciding right now I'm not available for negative talk around money. I decide right now that I'm only available for everything on my vision board. Like my whole life is now my vision board. This is something that's great, like really important as well, is when people create vision boards but they don't align their life with the vision board, and they think that by looking at the vision board every day it's going to magically, like a genie in a bottle, start coming true. No, the vision board is there as a symbol to remind you of what you should be doing and taking action on every day. You can't just look at the vision board and expect it to happen. You need to take the aligned action with it. So for example, I've put on here a house that's like super nice. The interior is amazing. If I was staying in this house, I would change the interior to look like the house on here. But instead what I'm doing is I'm going to change and literally move house to a house that looks like this and design my house that way, because that's on my vision board. I'm not going to sit here and wait for someone to come and bring me the new house. I'm going to actually start taking the action and then leave the universe to the rest. Because we don't want to be thinking about the how. I'm not thinking about where this house is or what's going on or how am I gonna do, who's gonna do it for me, who's gonna do the work for me. No, I'm just gonna literally move towards this in whatever way I currently can to fuse together the old identity and the new identity. And if you do start experiencing the things that are pulling you into the old identity, you simply decide in the moment, in that exact moment that someone says something, or I don't know, you go somewhere and something happens, you decide in the moment that I'm not available for this and I'm not going to feed into it. I'm literally not going to react to it. I'm literally not going to give any attention to it whatsoever. And in that moment, you just aligned yourself with the new identity without even trying. You just said no. You didn't have to physically do anything. You just took the aligned action and said no. Then the new identity is more solid in place. You imagine it sinking into concrete. The more you say no to this, the more concrete this new identity becomes sinking in to the concrete, right? And the more you indulge in the old behaviors and the old reality and you react to the old identity and the reality, you're pulling it out like a crane a little bit by little bit. And when you're in the manifestation limbo, it's because this pulling out and then soaking back in and pulling out, soaking back in is going on. You're still in the middle. So this is your sign now. Look around you. What is your mirror reflection to you? What is your living situation? What is your financial career situation? And what are your friends and family reflecting back to you? What are you getting triggered by? What negative situations are you still getting pulled into that you don't want? And then ask yourself, where is this a reflection of what I actually, where is this a reflection of what I actually still desire? So when your friends are gossiping and you engage in it, you're saying, I don't want it, but where are you secretly gaining something from engaging in the gossip? That will reveal to you the thing that you have actually been wanting, if that makes sense. That will reveal to you the thing that's been playing out in the back of your mind, keeping you in the old identity. So if it's a feeling of like feeling important, then that's something to work on, is feeling important. But you're never gonna get it from gossiping. If you want to feel important, create a platform for yourself and do it in a healthy way, but not in this way. This is the shadow self, okay? And then next time they gossip, now you can say to yourself, I'm not available for this. I'm not available. I'm gonna take my attention this way instead of this way. Now you've concreted it. And if you want to feel important, you take that shadow and you say, you're not doing it in this way. Now you can feel important a different, healthier way. Now you're aligned with the new identity. Congratulations, tick it off the list. The more you do this, the more you do this manifestation inner work, the more your reality is going to be changing into the mirror that reflects your literal vision board. And before you know it, you will look at this mirror, which is your reality, and say, holy crap, my vision board's here, my life is here, oh my god, they are one now. All because of these little micro habits and changes that I've been making. So, hope this has been a good live for you guys and you've learned lots from it. I'm doing a 30-day manifestation inner work challenge where I'm posting a video every single day for 30 days. This live was an extra because I couldn't resist but doing it. But every single day I'm going to do a manifestation inner work video. So if you like this one, then come back every day. And there'll be a new thing that you can do, new inner work practice that you can do to align yourself with your new life and manifest faster, like the magnetic manifester you know you secretly are. Okay, have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next